Shifting focus, it's judgment day in the Delhi High Court for the three men convicted in the 2002 Nitish Katara murder case. The Delhi High Court had in April 2013 upheld the conviction of accused by a trial court, saying it was a case of honor killing stemming from a deeply entrenched belief in caste system. Today, the High Court will pronounce the order of sentencing on an appeal that had been filed by the victim's mother, Neelam Katara, seeking death penalty for all three convicts. Her contention is that Nitish's murder was a rarest of rare crime that deserves the capital punishment. Mrs. Katara and the Delhi police have contended before the court that if not death, the convicts should at least be handed an enhanced life imprisonment. The convicts, Yadav brothers and Sukhdev Pahalwan, argue that they can reform and that their act was not so brutal or gruesome that it deserves capital punishment. Our deputy editor Atir Khan spoke to Neelam Katara a short while back. Here's what she had to say.
We have a lady with us who's fought a long-drawn battle, Ms. Neelam Katara. Ma'am, today is the day of judgment in High Court. What was your contention against the lower court's order?
No, against the lower court, of course, the other party had come out with their petition that the conviction was not correct, and the judge had given its verdict. The High Court has upheld the conviction. But now this is the second part where we have applied, the state has put in an appeal and I have put in a revision petition that the punishment should be enhanced from a life sentence to death sentence, and that is what we are waiting for today.
And you think that is the only befitting punishment for this crime?
Well, of course the judge has to decide, but certainly I am convinced that a crime like this needs a more stringent punishment, and I think we have put in our case well before the court.
But ma'am, the defense counsel says that this case doesn't fall in the category of rarest of rare.
Well, I think we've argued the point out in the court, and so on. Now that we are awaiting the judgment, I would not like to put forth the argument, but suffice it to say that this is a case of honor killing, and I think this is something which the court has agreed to while it was upholding the sentence, and I think that should have serious ramifications on the verdict today.
Man, it's been a tough battle for you. There have been many ups and downs. You've fought it out, and you've shown the country, that we have a good legal system, but how one should use it to get justice.
Yes, it has been a long battle, and I hope that this long battle has highlighted the lacunas in the system, because I have had to put up such a strong fight. Especially when you're fighting against the rich and the powerful, and so I can imagine why a person who maybe is not staying in the capital of the city, who does not have even the means, even for me the means have been completely depleted by now. A 13-year battle is a long battle, but that's why most people give up, and the criminals know that people will give up. So we have to have a system which delivers fast. We've got to have an effective policing system, and only then can people live without fear in our country. Otherwise, you can have a lot of material progress, but unless people have the right to choice, unless people have the right to be free of fear, I don't know where we are going.
But ma'am, you're an example of how you've fought it out from every level. You've shown how one can fight battle, and you've done it single-handedly. There must be many obstacles on this way.
Yes, there have been obstacles. I wouldn't say single-handedly. I've had great support from the people of the city, from the people across the country, because they felt some kind of empathy for my son, but also because a lot of people have suffered because of the criminal politician in our country. A lot of young people now today want the right to choice, so they identified their cause with mine. The media has been with me, the people have been with me, so it's not single-handed. But yes, the biggest, after having to fight against a criminal politician who was actually a sitting member of the Rajya Sabha, the next biggest hurdle in my way was the time that it takes, because we get adjournments which go on and on. The courts, in spite of wanting to bring in the witnesses, don't have an administrative system of their own. So delay is the biggest hurdle in the fight to justice in our country.
Now, what happens if the judgment is not what you are hopeful of? What happens then? Will you appeal against the verdict?
Well, I don't want to preempt anything, but I like to go about it in a I try to go about it and not in a very emotional way, in a rational way. We will read the judgment and we will see. And yes, in case, and I hope it's in our favor, but if in case it's not, then we will read through the judgment and we will see the arguments put in by the High Court, and depending on whether we agree or we don't agree, we take the next step.
Ma'am, you have fought it out and you've put up a very brave front also, but has your resolve during these 13 years ever sort of weakened in any way?
But sometimes, yes, I'm a human, and sometimes things would become very, very difficult. Because remember, it was fighting against a politician, and then again, in spite of everything what has happened, he was coming in again and again. And I'm saying this not, I know that the killers are the children, but then the fight was basically against the power of the whole family. So yes, my resolve would get weakened, but somehow or the other I feel that anytime I felt weakened, something would happen, somebody would say something which would really encourage me, and then I would continue with my fight. Because again, now that you're bringing it up, today is also the court's decision, or the court's whatever views they want to give on this whole matter of criminals running out of hospitals, running out of jails into hospitals and out on the street. So there are a lot of spin-offs from this, and I think fighting them all has been quite a task. But then again, I believe in divine power, and I think that is what has held me through.
Thank you for speaking with Headlines today, Ms. Neelam Katara, who is quite hopeful of a verdict which she has been seeking, but she will also look into what the verdict is, and thereafter she will take a call on whether to appeal against it or not. With camera person Kishan, Atir Khan in Delhi for Headlines today.
That was Atir Khan in conversation with Neelam Katara. Nitish Katara, remember, was a 25-year-old business executive who was in a relationship with Bharti Yadav. Bharti Yadav is the daughter of noted history sheeter and politician from Western Uttar Pradesh, DP Yadav. She's evaded court summons for 3 years and appeared in court only when she was threatened with the prospect of being declared a proclaimed offender. DP Yadav's son Vikas, along with his cousin Vishal, are convicted of murdering Nitish. Their accomplice Sukhdev Pahalwan is also serving a life sentence. The victim's mother Neelam Katara has been fighting a 13-year-long legal battle for justice for her son, who was abducted from a wedding in Ghaziabad in the outskirts of Delhi on the night of February 16, 2002. He was beaten to death with a hammer and his body burnt after being doused with kerosene. The body was found the next day. The prime suspects were identified as criminal politician DP Yadav's son. Neelam Katara also fought to move the trial from Uttar Pradesh to Delhi to ward off any influence from the powerful political family. Let's get a word from Atir Khan, who's tracking developments for us. Atir, the quantum of sentence to be decided today, Neelam Katara says it's a rarest of rare crime. The convicts claim that it's not their crime wasn't so gruesome and they're capable of reforming themselves.
Well, that's right. You see, it's a very, very important judgment today. It has several, angles to it. One being that, according to Neelam Katara, it's a case of honor killing. It's a gruesome murder. It also involves how a lady like Neelam Katara can pave way, can show way, how the justice system can be used to get justice. We have a strong criminal justice system, but then how to use it against the powerful and mighty. So this is a classic case. There's another angle of compensation in a case of murder, which the court had deliberated upon. However, Neelam Katara has said that she is not going to take any compensation. No amount can be fixed to her son's life. So it's a very crucial case. Both sides have given their arguments. Neelam Katara says it's honor killing. The defense says that already the lower court has passed a judgment for 20 years imprisonment, and the high court cannot come up with a judgment for increasing the life term to 30 to 40 years. But the High Court will pass the verdict on whether he will be given death sentence or it will be commuted to a lesser punishment. So that is going to happen in the second half of the day sometime today.
Right, so the judgment expected post-lunch. Atir, thanks so much for that update. We're going to keep coming back to you for developments.